Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks, and I just did this video last night how to trace this and get this ornament for a shop teacher, and he is going to personalize them. So we need a space to put the letters, and there's not a standardized bar across here that we can weld to. You could actually probably make it work, but all this is going to stay. And you could actually use the banner tool under common shapes and use the banner tool and or flow chart, or banner. Uh, but he's got X12, and I don't know, you know, if that was in X12. And well, actually, they were just called 12 back then, not version 12. We could contour this shape. So we go to effects and contour, and we're going to contour to the inside 0.25. And the contour can't get in those other spaces, so it stops. Now we need to go to object and break the contour apart. And we just need to clean up these lines with the shape tool, trying not to impede on our flow of our graphic. And you know what, let's try this. Let's try selecting this and deleting 20% of the node, see what happens. Not bad, we can fix things. You know, we could raise that back up a little bit. Maybe even delete that node, and that looks pretty good. Then what I would do is take that shape and see it's got another contour up there. So we need to break the contour apart and get rid of that shape because it picked a bigger bounding box. I want to hit the plus key and I'm going to nudge it over, but I need to change the nudge factor about 4 inches. And I've already made a copy, so I'm just going to nudge it over. I'm going to start all over because the whole thing is, well, it's over 5, so let's change our nudge factor to 6. So select it, hit the plus key, and nudge it over. What we really want is just this bottom contour line, which isn't perfect. I'd work on a little bit more to get it more of a flow, but for the video, it's good enough. And I'm going to take the shape tool, and I'm going to right-click that node, or break it apart, right-click, or actually left-click, break apart. Then we can take the virtual segment delete key and we just have that line. Now we need it going in a certain direction, so we're going to grab the shape tool, and it actually is going in the right direction. If the arrows are backwards, you'd have to turn them around. And I'm trying to think of a good name. Let's put all capitals are always better. Just because the fact that you don't have anything hanging below the line. And then kind of look to make sure Leah would fit in there and make it a little bit bigger. And let's go ahead and left click, no fill. Well, I don't have it selected. Left click, no fill, right click, red hairline. It is still a text, even though we've made it like that. So fit text to path and put it on the path. That way we kind of have that shape. Like I said, I didn't do a very good job of flowing it. Select it all, go to object, and break the text apart. Then when you nudge it over, you just have that. Get rid of that line. Now, there's several ways you could do this with welding and everything, but I find it's a little easier just to virtual segment delete it. That's not strong enough there, so we can take the box, take this handle and just move it up a little bit. You've got to have kind of all the letter in there. We could increase the letters. The top looks good. The bottom, it doesn't matter as long as it's in there. That doesn't look half bad. It's hard with straight up and down letters to kind of look good. You know, in this case, you could probably actually break Leah apart, grab this one and rotate it. Whoop, don't grab that. Rotate the H a little bit. You know, you can move them down quite a bit. This is where you'd want to set your nudge factor on pretty low. That looks pretty good. And if you had your nudge factor set at like 0.001, when you grab just that H, you could just minutely move it over and minutely move it up. Now, like I said, instead of using the nudge or the weld keys and everything, which we might possibly could do, let's just try it. Let's select the L, hold down the shift, select the E. Well, I need 5 items. I got 4. Okay, there's the box. There's 1. Holding down the shift. Well, you know what we can do? Hold down the Alt key and go through here. Now we got 6 objects. I don't know how we have 6. Let's try to weld it. Nope, doesn't work. Let's try back minus front. Doesn't work. Let's try front minus back. Nothing changed. That's why by the time you figure out which one to do, you could have had it done. Just use the intersect virtual segment delete key. Well, here's the problem. I need to change all these to a text. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key and select through there and go up to object and convert them to a curve. That way the text will cut now. And what we're doing is we're stopping, or we're letting places for the smart fill to go, because the smart fill is going to be our glue. Whoop. So I didn't have that line quite far enough, which is okay. We could take the lower part of the A and just move it down. It isn't going to be visible. You know, I've got 2 different colors, but it doesn't matter. That looks pretty good. Now, last and all you have to do least is fill it in with the Smart Fill tool. We've moved our nudge factor again, but if you move this over and then you left click, right click, you have an ornament with a personalized ornament. Now, if I was going to do 20 of those or 10 of them, I would have kept that line out to the side. And I hope that made sense. So let's set our nudge factor back on 6. And, you know, so here's the one I made. I'd have another one over here and I have my line, and I would just take my empty one that we already had done, and you could make a lot of them. I hope that made sense. I wish I would have included that. So, you know, we had our line and we had our, let me just back up here. Let me keep backing up. Okay, there we go. Now forward a little bit. Okay, we have our line and we have our blank. Where our nudge factor is set on 6 inches. If you would make duplicates of these, and then you'd only have to put in that name and move it over. You know, you could have multiples. You know, if you're going to make 4, there's 4 of them. All you have to, and then, you know, put one out to the side in case you mess it up. That way, all you have to put the name on there and move it over. Hope that made sense. Thank you for watching. Hope that helped.